A lot of people, when they look at me, they may see just a big metalhead, And to an extent, that's true. I do love some metal. But I wouldn't consider myself to be a metalhead simply because I can't tell you all the 827 subgenres and subgenres or a shit ton of bands. Um, that's one of those. Like I like what I like. I'll put on like Spotify or Pandora, listen to a couple metal bands, and then I'll discover new stuff through that, which is pretty dope. Um, and when I tell people that I also like um, hip hop, some people like, yeah, I guess I could see that. Especially the older stuff like from the '90s. I'm not a big fan of most of the mainstream stuff that's coming out these days, but I do enjoy a lot of rap and hip hop, and there's some good contemporary stuff out there. Like Tech Nine and shit like that. I really enjoy. Um, and people hear that I like country music. Again, old school country. I like the outlaw country artists. Jennings, Waylon, shit like that. People were like, okay, I can get that. Especially once they know me a little bit. So no, I see that. But then I surprise a lot of people. Now I am, obviously I'm pretty eclectic in my music choice. I won't say I listen to everything, but I listen to at least a little bit of a lot of things. Like I don't get into K-pop or anything like that, but there's some things that do surprise people. And believe it or not, one of my all-time favorite bands is Bare Naked Ladies, and not just because the cool name, but I think they have a. I really dig them. I think they have a pretty wide variety in sounds throughout their stuff. There's some rock, there's some country, there's a little hip hop, a little rap thrown into it, and I mean, um, the last couple albums maybe not so much, but I mean, there's just because I haven't quite listened to them as much, but I mean, most of their older albums, you'll have a hard time finding a song that I can't sing along to, and not just the singles. Um, and the one that throws a lot of people, especially if they don't know me very well, for the Weird Al Yankovic. Like, no bullshit. That is my all-time favorite. One of my all-time favorite artists. And again, good luck finding a song that I can't sing along to. Um, I've seen him in concert like four or five times. The last two were pretty cool. I think 2 years ago he did like this small uh, little uh, intimate thing, like because normally when you go to a Weird Al show, it's a huge production. There's costume changes. Um, in between sets, they show clips of like his. He used to have a TV show or his movie UHF, or cameos that he's done, or references in other TV shows where they just reference Weird Al while he's doing his costume changes and all that. I mean, it's a huge production. But 2 years ago, he did a tour where none of that, nothing elaborate. It was just him sitting there singing songs. Most of them were his original songs. Um, like he didn't play his big he did he there was one point he had like a little medley of his biggest parodies, but most of it were stuff that if you don't know Weird Al, a lot of it you wouldn't know, and which I thought was cool as hell. And then last year when he came through, he came in with like this. I think it was like a 31 piece symphony, and wasn't quite as spectacular production wise as his other tours, but he still did the costume changes and stuff like that, and that was really awesome. And as silly as it sounds, a lot of his stuff, as goofy as it is, speaks to me. You know, um, there are certain songs that remind me of this or that, or got me through some shit. You know, perfect example. Uh, I explained before I was in a really bad relationship in the past, blah blah blah, and when we split, um, as bad as that relationship was, it was still really tough on me. And then, but he has this song on his Bad Hair Day album called "Since You've Been Gone," and it talks about how miserable, you know, he is since you, since you left. Like, since you've been gone, I feel like I've been chewing on cod liver oil. Since you've been gone, I feel like I've got a great big mouthful of cod liver oil. Since you've been gone, I've been feeling like I've been chewing on tin foil, shit like that, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, he says, ever since the day you left me, I've been so miserable, my dear. I feel almost as bad as I did when you were still here. And such a genius line, and that's exactly how I felt, going through that relationship. When that relationship was over with and everything. So, yeah, people look at me and they see one thing, but once you get to know me, especially music wise, like, holy crap, you actually a big fan of, you know, they might be giants. Oh, hell yeah, you know. Um, and, but yeah, I just thought I'd share that, looks sometimes, they can be deceiving.